All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Seraphi. I'm happy to meet you all, and today we are going to be reviewing some custom cards. I have to extend an apology to the custom card people because, I do my best to make sure that they get a video every Sunday. And basically, I was so tilted this weekend that I decided I was going for Master 1 with the rest of this week, and I told them to wait. After 3 attempts at streaming Master 1 that resulted in me ending at Master 5 after several hours every single time, I've given up for this month. I'll try again next month. I have to do it a little bit early. But because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to review the custom cards for this live. This will be no different than a VOD because, you guys will still be able to see all my thoughts. They'll be recorded and on the channel, but now people can tune in right now as opposed to waiting 4 hours for me to both record and then upload. And then also they can give live feedback as well. So, let's get started. First up, we have a submission from the Chosen Lalafell of the Servitor archetype. Now, if you want to get your cards reviewed by me, then all you have to do is join the Discord. The link is in the description of any of one of my videos, and you'll be able to then submit in the custom cards submission folder. Hello, Cure Hyacine, welcome to the stream. We're starting off with Servitors. So, Servitors appear to be some sort of spell archetype, and we'll see what happens. We have the continuous spell Bulwark Servitor. Once per turn, you can special summon one Servitor token, a level 1 light illusion monster with 0 attack and 2000 defense in defense position. While you control a Servitor token or a Servitor link monster, your Servitor spells cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, you can target one other Servitor spell you control until the end of your opponent's next turn. That card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. You can only control one face-up Bulwark Servitor, and you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Servitor monsters. Okay. So, your spells can't be destroyed by card effects, either player's card effects. So, as long as you control one of these tokens or one of these link monsters, you are not able to necessarily remove your Bulwark Servitor from the field all that easily. Giant Trunade is banned. Because of that, this lock pretty much always applies to you, which is fair. Free token every single turn seems fine. Protection for your other cards also seems pretty necessary, as I doubt there's many ways to actually get tokens. So we'll see what the rest of the cards look like. First, live custom card stream. Nice. Yes, that is correct. We are free token every single turn. Live custom card stream. And next card is Rally Servitor. Continuous spell once per turn, you can special summon a token. While you control a token or a link monster, Servitor monsters you control gain 1,000 attack points and can attack your opponent directly while they're in defense position. That one's a little bit curious. Not really sure how that works. So does that mean that you can attack them directly even if they control a monster? Or just if your opponent controls no monsters, you can declare an attack while in defense position? Either way, it seems like you use your attack points for that. So basically, if you have 5 tokens, you can attack directly for 5,000 damage. Seems fine. Once per turn, you can target one Servitor monster you control. This turn, only the targeted monster may declare an attack. Also, that monster gains 1,000 attack for each Servitor monster you control. You can only control one face-up Rally Servitor. You cannot special summon for the extra deck except Servitor monsters. Okay? So if every single one of these locks you, that's going to be pretty hard to avoid. So basically, we should just assume that this deck is always locked. Repair Servitor. Once per turn, you can special summon one Servitor token in defense position up to twice per turn. You can tribute one Servitor token to draw one card. You can only control one face-up Repair Servitor. You cannot special summon for the extra deck except Servitor monsters. This seems like a bad name. It's an interesting idea, but the name seems really weird because you're destroying your tokens, essentially. which is the opposite of repairing them. I suppose the idea is that the tokens are being sacrificed as fuel to repair you by regenerating your hand, but that doesn't make sense. You should change the name to something else. Maybe a sacrificial servitor or something like that. Provision servitor. Well, why would provision? Why would you not call the one that draws you cards provision servitor? That doesn't make any sense. Hello, Seraphi Sensei. Hello, Mega Mally. Welcome to the stream. Provision Servitor. Once per turn, you can special summon one Servitor token in defense position. Once per turn, while you control a Servitor token or a Servitor Link monster, you contribute one Servitor monster to add one Servitor Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards you control. You can only control one face-up Provision Servitor. You cannot special summon for the extra deck except Servitor monsters. Makes sense. So this card allows you to get more of these continuous spells, which will then get you more tokens. That seems perfectly fine. And then the last of the 5... no, hold on. There's 4 continuous spells. Looks like there is a field spell. I thought this was a premise. I mean, this is a stream. Live stream. Hello, Rex. I didn't know this is a chat. Hello, OT2900. Welcome to the stream. Command Servitor, field spell. Servitor tokens you control cannot be destroyed by battle. They are treated as effect monsters with the following effect. Quick effect, you contribute this card, destroy one card on the field. That's pretty nice. Once per turn, you can special summon one Servitor token in defense position. While you control a Servitor Link monster, you take no battle damage. You can only activate one Command Servitor per turn. Okay, so, this one is, This one's a little bit concerning. So, this is the only one that doesn't lock you. Now, it doesn't summon any token. Well, no, yeah, it does. It does summon a token. And this is the only one that doesn't lock you. The concern here is that one of the biggest weaknesses of token decks is that they can't summon most Link monsters. That's by design. They're not supposed to be good for much of anything. You can't use them to Xyz summon. They're typically not good fusion material. Depends on the deck. And other than specifically Mega Phantom Beast, they don't typically work well as a token synchro deck. So the idea is that tokens, generally speaking, serve some ulterior purpose and are generally not used as extra deck fodder. The sole exception to this is Links. Links have been really difficult for that to be balanced around. And the main way that Konami tries to prevent tokens from being used as Link material is by having Link monsters require effect monsters, no matter how generic they are otherwise. So, this card, making your Servitor tokens into effect monsters, makes it significantly easier for you to use them as Link material. And then it also doesn't have a lock, which is very concerning. So, while I don't think that you could reasonably get the rest of your continuous spells off of the field, you don't have to play Bulwark. And if you don't play Bulwark, you could summon the other 3, you could special summon a bunch of tokens, then you could Heavy Storm, play the Command Servitor, and then link all your monsters together. And you are not locked, and you can make whatever you want. So it seems like a huge oversight that Command Servitor, the one that makes them actually good as Link material and useful for things other than Servitor Link monsters, does not have a lock. I would say this card, more than any of the others, needs a lock on it. Alright. Next up is Servitor Strike. Why is Jinzo in this card's artwork? Okay. A quick play trap. No, just a regular trap. If you control a Servitor token, you can activate this card from your hand by discarding it. No. What? Activate from your hand by discarding it? Traps have to go on the field. They have to be face up so that you can negate them. That's like a double benefit. And then, of course, the idea is that you could activate the effect without needing to play the card on the field either. Is there a continuous trap? Yes, there is. I see. So the idea is that you can't use these cards otherwise because because you are theoretically going to have a full spell and trap board. I suppose that's understandable. Target one monster your opponent controls, also discard one card. Negate that monster's effects, if any, and if you do, send it to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Servitor token, then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. You can only use each effect once per turn. The effect is good. The main problem that I have with this is that it would be played outside of servitors. Yeah, it's not a hand trap if you don't control a servitor token, but if you set it, it is literally just a better imperm. You do have to discard a card, but not only do you negate a monster, you also get to send it to the graveyard, which is a very powerful form of removal. Even if it's once per turn, that's really annoying, and I feel like Labyrinth would play this most definitely. Trap Tricks could also get away with it, theoretically. You have to be really careful when you make normal traps too generic, because Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle can search literally any normal trap in the game. I would say that you should have to control a Servitor token to activate the card, period. Otherwise, it's fine. Hello, Keo. Welcome to the stream. 2602. Whoever just subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Servitor Clash. If you control a Servitor token, you can activate this card from your hand by discarding it. Target face-up spells and traps your opponent controls up to the number of Servitor tokens you control plus 1. Negate those targets' effects until the end of the turn. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one Servitor token. You can only use each effect once per turn. This is basically a spell and trap negate that also gives you a token, which is not powerful enough to see play outside of Servitor, so this part is fine. Decoy Servitor. When this card is activated, special summon this card as an effect monster. While this card is a monster, its name becomes Servitor token and it gains the following effects. Your opponent must attack this face-up card if able. Cannot be destroyed by battle. During the end phase, set this card to your spell and trap zone. Also, you cannot activate Decoy Servitor again until the start of the second turn after this effect resolves. If you control no face-up monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. Ooh, if you control no monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. Now, this one's different, right? This is not a token. So this card could be used as Xyz material. And it can also be used as link material. This one is a lot trickier. In particular, I would be very worried if Phantom Knights got a hold of this card. It is only level 1, but I'm sure that Phantom Knights can adjust the levels of their monsters. Let me look at the new Phantom Knights cards. Phantom Knights. The Phantom Knights of Malevolent Scythe. No, not that one. The Phantom Knights of Doomed Solaray. You could banish this card from your graveyard, target up to 2 level or rank 3 dark monsters and increase their level by 1. Okay, so this one Okay. So yeah, no, it doesn't look like they can change the level of any monster. Okay. It's a little bit generic, but I guess I can't think of a way that it would be abused right now. Although it's only a matter of time until a rank 1 deck comes out that's actually good. Servitor Avatar. A Link 1 requires a Servitor token, 500 or 0 attack points. Gains 500 attack points for each Servitor token you control. Quick effect, you contribute 1 Servitor token to destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. That's already in effect. Yeah, this is just worse than the field spell. Okay. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon a Servitor token in defense position, then you can add 1 Servitor spell or trap from your deck to your hand. I mean, this draws you the field spell, but otherwise it doesn't seem like it does very much. That's fine, I guess. Link 2. Servitor Tulpa. Requires 2 Servitor monsters, including at least 1 Servitor token. Gain 700 attack for each Servitor token you control. When your opponent targets this card for an attack or artifact, as a quick effect, you can special summon 1 Servitor token in defense position, then change the target to that token. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Servitor Avatar from your extra deck to the extra monster zone, or special summon 1 Servitor token. You can only special summon and use each effect of Servitor Avatar once per turn. What? I assume this is supposed to be Servitor Tulpa, and that this effect is supposed to summon Servitor Avatar. This is confusing. Okay. Servitor Champion, Link 3. 2 or more Servitor monsters, including at least 1 Servitor token. Gains 1,000 attack for each Servitor token you control. As a quick effect, you contribute all Servitor tokens you control. Your opponent must tribute an equal number of monsters. Then both players draw 2 cards, also end the current phase. Okay, that's interesting. I suppose that is a very good way to deal with a token deck to make it, actually somewhat playable. Making your opponent essentially skip their main phase 1 does prevent them from actually killing you, which is useful. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Servitor Tulpa from your extra deck to the extra monster zone, or special summon it 2 Servitor tokens. You can only special summon it and use each effect of Servitor Champion once per turn. Okay. Overall, I think the idea is pretty interesting. The locks only lock you into special summoning from the extra deck, which means that you're probably going to summon this with Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder. And then, can Ravael summon Tribute anything? I think it can, right? Oh no, it has to be Fiends. But Shimmering Scraper can tribute any 3 monsters. So this would probably be used in a Sacred Beast deck that focuses on Haman's effect, along with Ravael Shimmering Scraper and Destiny Hero Plasma. You would just need to get the Link 3 out and keep 1 token so that you could use its effect. And then you'd be able to essentially just control the board with whatever tribute monsters you wanted to use. Tribute special summon. You could even play Ra on it. Or Obelisk the Tormentor. I don't think that's a problem. So, an engine for the Sacred Beast is kind of an interesting idea. It's not really needed since there's the new Sacred Beast support coming out. But I think this would be like an interesting take on... This is like an interesting take if we think about this like in 2024, what Sacred Beast support could have looked like. So this deck is essentially 2 years old, right? 2 years too old. But it was really like a cool idea a couple of years ago, I would say. I like it. Budget Zawarudo effect. Hello, Iforgor. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Alright, how long did that take? 20 minutes, of course. All right. Next archetype. This is also from The Chosen Lalafell. Dark Forest. Hold on. So first of all, good job not calling your deck Black Forest, because Witch of the Black Forest is a card. Okay, Dark Forest is not being used in any deck, so this is a legitimate archetype name. Dark Forest Deity. This is a level 6 Earth Plant monster. You can special summon this card from your hand by attributing one Dark Forest monster from your hand or face-up field. You can only special summon a Dark Forest Deity once per turn this way. Until this card declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's cards, effects, or attacks. That's an interesting floodgate. Okay, I like that idea. The idea is like, okay, well, as soon as I activate an effect, you can imperm me, but you can't get rid of me until I do so. I like that. That's like a cool idea. You can tribute this card from your hand or field. Take one, the Dark Forest, from your deck or graveyard. Either activate it or add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard except by its own effect, you can activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, Dark Forest monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can only use each effective Dark Forest deity once per turn. Alright. There's a field spell. So let's listen to this field spell. The Dark Forest. Non-plant monsters lose 300 attack and defense for each plant monster you control. Dark Forest monsters can be normal summoned without tribute. If this card would be destroyed by a card effect, then you could destroy one Dark Forest monster you control instead. Not a very good spell. Okay, fair enough. Dark Forest Golem. Until this card declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's attack, card effects, or attacks. If you control the Dark Forest, you can activate this effect. Dark Forest monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's next turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it. You can only use each effect once per turn. So I'm seeing themes of growth and regrowth, which makes sense for a plant deck. No problem so far. Dark Forest Mutants, spelled correctly, not M-Y-U-T-A-N-T. Level 6, Earth Plant Monster, 2400 attack. You can special summon this card from your hand by attributing one Dark Forest monster from your hand or field. You can only special summon a Dark Forest Mutant once per turn this way. Is there a link button that searches the field spell, though? I mean, the deity searches the field spell. You can attribute this card from your hand to take the Dark Forest from your deck or graveyard and add it to your hand or activate it. Until this card declares an attack, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. If you control the Dark Forest, you can target one card your opponent controls, send that target to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one card your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. Okay, so this card does not special summon itself if it's sent to the graveyard. Okay. Can I say the forbidden word? None of these cards appear in any way female. But sure, Velo, ruin my stream. Go ahead. I can see it being played with Vernisylph or any plant deck, at least at first glance. So far, I'm not convinced that this would earn the spot in Ragnaraka. Dark Forest Protector. This card looks very similar to this card. Until this card declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. If you control the Dark Forest, you can activate this effect until the end of your opponent's next turn. You can activate this effect until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent cannot attack Dark Forest monsters you control except this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Dark Forest card from your deck, from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. It's got 2100 defense points. It can't special summon itself in defense position, which is a little bit awkward. But it's an interesting idea. And no, I just don't. I just don't see this being worth a normal summon in any deck. So yeah, no, I don't think this card, even in the Dark Forest deck, I don't think this card would see any play. Dark Forest Sentinel. Level 3 Earth Plant Monster. Until this card declares an attack or activate an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. If you control the Dark Forest, you can activate this effect until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent cannot target Dark Forest monsters you control for card effects, except this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 3 Dark Forest monster from your graveyard, except Dark Forest Sentinel. Okay. So, if you can discard Dark Forest Protector somehow, Dark Forest Sentinel could special summon it from your graveyard. That's interesting. The main problem here is that Dark Forest Sentinel, like, essentially... Well, I mean, it's not really a problem. The idea is, like, you could use Dark Forest Sentinel's effect. It would say you could only target this card for card effects, and then you would just remove this card from the field, and your opponent couldn't target anything. But it's only until the end of next turn, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Dark Forest Treant, level 3 Earth Plant Monster. Until this card declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. When a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field while you control the Dark Forest, you contribute this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. If this card sets the graveyard except by its own effect, you can draw one card. Okay, so apparently, I mean, I am definitely like a person who, you know, tells my custom card community that they don't design cards like for the modern era. But to see a normal summoned monster with only the requirement that you control a searchable field spell, it's just Stardust Dragon, that's a little wild. I know, but it's not really, because we have Kawaki Meru Guardian, which is just a monster negate. Like a just straight up monster negate. And we have, isn't there, well, I mean, there's also Doom Rider, or whatever it's called, the level 4 Dark Fiend that's like an Omni, but it's mandatory. So there are definitely like main deck, low level, normal summonable, just generic negates. But this is still like a wild idea. Dark Forest Bog. Add one Dark Forest card from your deck to your hand, then if you added a spell or trap, you can discard one card. Oh, that's nice. So you draw your Dark Forest, and then you discard any of your monsters, and you choose the effect. You are definitely a person. Thank you for Gore. You can only activate one per turn. Dark Forest Mist. During your main phase, you can normal summon one plant monster in addition to your normal summon set. That's very important for this deck. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can target up to 3 Dark Forest monsters you control, banish them, then return them to the field. Then you can attach one card from the top of your deck to any Exceeds monster you return this way. You can only control one Dark Forest Mist. This is an interesting idea. So, essentially what this would do is it would allow you to activate your monster effects so they could all, like, protect you until next turn. Then you can banish your monsters so they regain their Shroud effect. Because technically speaking, the new monsters that are on the field have not yet activated their effects. It's a cool idea. It's like a... This reminds me a lot of Toon World, the Perfect World, but way more fair. Each card has a hard once per turn. So it's not like recycling them is going to help you at all. Yeah, this seems fine. Trap card, Dark Forest Snapper. Target one monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. Apply the following effects. Make that monster's attack and defense 0. If you control the Dark Forest, negate that target's effects. Okay, sure. I mean, it's barely better than Lost Wind or Titanicider. It's not better than Titanicider. Titanicider is better than this, but it's a searchable Titanicider, I guess. It's fine. All right, here we go for the Xyz monsters. Dark Forest Elemental. Rank 3 Earth Plant. Requires 2 level 3s. Until this card declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. As a quick thing, you can detach one material from this card, target one Dark Forest monster you control, send it to the graveyard, then you can special summon one Dark Forest monster from your deck with the same name as that monster. That's pretty good. This will allow you to, for example, you can Xyz into... your Dark Forest Elemental, target Dark Forest Deity, send it to the graveyard, and then, or sorry, not Dark Forest Deity, well, no. None of them come back. The level 6s don't come back. So this doesn't enable you to get a rank 6. Huh, I don't know how you're going to get rank 6 then. Dark Forest Rafflesia. No! Absolutely not. How dare you steal the name of my precious flower? Traptrix is the only Rafflesia in this game. And no, Predaplant Chimerafflesia doesn't count. That's a pun on the term Chimera and Rafflesia. It's not the same thing as having the name Rafflesia. Rafflesia belongs to one monster. Thank you very much. Until this card declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. Isn't that just Dante Protection Crafts? Okay. Once per turn, when a plant monster is sent to your graveyard, you can attach that you can target that monster in the graveyard, attach that to this card as material. Gains 500 attack and defense for each material on it. If this card has 4 or more materials, you can exceed summon one rank 6 Dark Force Exceeds monster from your extract by using this entire card as material, transfer its materials. I see. Okay, Dark Forest Abomination. This does look like an abomination. A rank 3 plant Exceeds monster with 3,000 defense points. Requires 3 or more level 3 plants. Until this card activates, declares an attack, or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. Other monsters you control gain 400 attack and defense for each material on this card. As a quick effect, you can attach 2 materials from this card, attach 1 monster your opponent controls to this card as a material. It's very good. Alright. This is a very solid form of interruption. It does require 3 level 3 plants, which is incredibly specific. This is fine. Dark Forest Behemoth. 2 level 6 monsters must be Xyz summoned. Until this card has declares an attack or activates an effect, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. If this card declares an attack, you can detach 1 material from it. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until after damage calculation. When a Dark Forest monster you control is targeted for an attack or effect, as a quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, negate that attack or effect, and if you do, attach that negated card to this card as material. One second. This is fine. Let's see, So negating a targeting effect is pretty good, and attaching the card as material is also very good. Although I don't know how often this will resolve, since all of your monsters can't be targeted. That's kind of the point. Rosalind the Swamp Mother. This is a level 9 Earth Plant Fusion monster. 2 or more max 5 plant monsters. This is always treated as a Dark Forest card. Must be special summoned for the extract by shuffling the above cards from your face-up field and or graveyard into the deck, while your life points are lower than your opponent's by at least 4,000. That's specific. Gain 700 attack and defense for each material used in its summon. When this card is summoned, return all other cards on the field to the hand. As a quick effect, you can target 1 card from the field. Shuffle 1 plant monster from your graveyard into your deck. If you do destroy that target, you can only use each effect of Rosalind the Swamp Mother once per turn. Contact fusion monsters can be special summoned from the graveyard. This effect misses timing, which is fine, I guess, but being able to basically just activate Call the Haunted to return every other card on the field to the hand is a bit much. I would say this card is fine, but you would probably want to word it to say that it says when this card is summoned from the extra deck. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. I think this is a weak deck. I would not play this over Ragnaraka. Alright. Next up is the Royal Starlight archetype, which was submitted by Chronojet, right? I assume. Yes. Alright, so first up we have the Bro is just gay Neos but green. Thank you, Ifragor. You are very helpful. Alright, so we have an Overframe card that was submitted. This is cool. I like the artwork. I think that I'm looking forward to seeing like a bunch of Overframes from my community in the future because, I mean, if you're going to try and make a card stand out, the most important thing is the artwork. Royal Starlight Supporter Unicorn. This is a level 7 light warrior monster. Cannot be used as synchro material. You can reveal this card in your and one Royal Starlight monster or one level 7 monster in your hand. Special summon this card, then you can special summon the other revealed monster in defense position. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Royal Starlight monster from your deck except Royal Starlight Supporter Unicorn. You cannot special summon monsters to turn you activate this effect except rank 7 monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Royal Supporter Unicorn once per turn. A rank 7 light Xyz monster that has this card's material gains this effect. This card gains 1,000 attack and defense points. Okay, so you can use this in Red Eyes, you can use this in Odd Eyes, and you can use this in Kashtira. That's probably fine. 7 is probably the worst rank of the entire game, except for 11. So I think that's probably okay. Alright, let's see what these cards do. Royal Starlight Little Formidable. This is a level 4 light warrior monster. You can discard this card to add one Royal Starlight monster from your deck. She looks just like McQueen, not gonna lie. McQueen. Lightning McQueen. Okay. Let's see what Ifragor is tripping on here, guys, because this is what McQueen looks like. McQueen is a red sports car, which does not have a dashboard, so it has eyes. The eyes can emote by, I guess, the body of the car closing around on them like eyelids. He also has a mouth with that I suppose can eat and speak. And he has like giant wheels. So he thinks that Ifragor thinks that this card looks like Lightning McQueen. The Uma, not the car. Why would I know anything about the Uma? Okay, let's see. Know your audience if you're going to say something without giving any context. Alright. Bold of you to assume Fragor's head has something other than gambling and horses. Fair enough. You can discard this card to add one Royal Starlight monster from your deck to your hand, except Royal Starlight Little Formidable. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. The turn you activate this effect except rank 7 Xyz monsters. While this card is in the graveyard, if a level or rank 7 Xyz monster or a Royal Starlight monster is special summon, you can special summon this card. If you do, its level becomes 7, but banish it when it leaves the field. Kyo is a real one, yes. You can only use each effect once per turn. A Royal Starlight Xyz monster that has this effect gains has this card's material gains this effect, cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay. Next up is Royal Starlight Little less. Okay. How many of these cards are going to depict like children? 4, it looks like. Joy. Okay. Alright, you can discard this card, add one Royal Starlight Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck the turn you activate this effect except rank 7 Xyz monsters. While this card is in the graveyard, if a level or rank 7 a monster or Royal Starlight is special summon, you can special summon this card from your... And if you do, this card's level becomes 7, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. A Royal Starlight exceeds monster that has this effect. As this card has material, gains this effect, cannot be banished by card effects. Okay. Hey, hi there. Hello, Arslan YGO. Welcome to the stream. Alright, now we get into the level 7 monsters. Royal Starlight Angel Plymouth. Royal Starlight Ariser Royal Oak. Royal Starlight Inheritor Perseus. Are these monsters? These monsters are all light warriors. Okay. And what about the Xyzes? They're all light warriors. Interesting. Okay. I've made several custom cards for the Weather Painter deck, but I can't show you here. Hey, if you want to join the Discord, then you can submit your custom cards to my chat, and I will review them next week. Anyone can post submissions for me to review. Royal Starlight Angel Plymouth. You can reveal this card from your hand, then you can reveal one other Royal Starlight monster or one level 7 monster from your hand. Special summon this card, then you can special summon the revealed monster in defense position. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one Royal Starlight monster or one level 7 monster in your graveyard or banishment. Special summon it, and if you special summoned level 4 Royal Starlight monster with this effect, its level becomes 7. If this card is attached to activate a rank 7 Exceeds monster's effect, you can make all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack and defense points. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay. Oh, sure. I mean, that's an interesting idea. Like, you detach it, and then it goes like, oh, now all of your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack. That's a cool idea. I like that. Okay, so let me move my Discord off stream so I can look at whatever Velo is tagging me in. Okay. Thank you, Velo. I need to think of the most memey artwork and make it a card. You're welcome to do so. It's been done already. Someone, you missed, there was a week where someone submitted Obelisk the Tormentor as a Dark Magician girl. That's literally the card art. It's like Obelisk the Tormentor cosplaying as Dark Magician girl. This card's fine. What rank 7s do we have? Hold on. Oh, right. There's a new rank 7 deck coming out, isn't there? I guess I have to start thinking about that. What is it called? It's the Gambling deck. Cielo, the Night Sky of Ray's Moon, No More Bets. Okay, well, you can't summon that card except with level 7 Ray's Moon monsters. So let's look at the other one. Ray's Moon Hope Squeeze Jackpot. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. If this card is Xyz summoned, or if a monster is special summoned from the hand, you can detach any number of materials from this card, place that many cards on your opponent controls on the bottom of the deck in any order. Each time your opponent makes a card leave their deck except by drawing it, you can attach the top card of their deck to this card. Oh my god. This is the problem, right? Like, people go into custom cards, and they think, okay, I'm going to make something a little bit generic. It's not going to have an archetypal lock, but I'm going to limit it to a specific rank or level that Konami does not print a lot of support for. And in that case, it will be balanced. But then Konami does the same thing. They turn around and they say, there's not any good rank 7 decks. Let's print a deck that just draws you Exodia on turn 0. So, before we get through any of this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that I'm pretty sure Chronojet has not read a single Ray's Moon card, but now that Ray's Moon exists, this entire deck can't exist. You can't have generic rank 7 Xyz support when a deck that literally is designed to draw your deck out on turn 0 is rank 7. So, we're going to go through these cards, we're going to value them independently, and then we're going to take this archetype and dump it in the trash because you can't print any more generic rank 7 support. Never again. Alright. I watched this one. It was originally going to be a Water Warrior, but after finding some of the cards from Mermail stuff, specifically the rank 7s and especially Abyssgalios, thought it would be much. And the one Zcat made Dinos for some reason. That's my type of archetype, yes. Alright, let's see. Royal Starlight, Ariser, Royal Oak. You can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. I did, and it was hard to future-proof it when Ray's Moon got released. Exactly, right? Like Ray's Moon is disgusting. I have seen people just draw Exodia on turn 1 with Ray's Moon. It's hilarious. It's very, very funny. But now it's just like, okay. So then in that case, Royal Starlights need to be their own deck. They need to lock you. They need to not summon level 7s from the hand. They need to summon only themselves from the hand. 2602, whoever just unsubscribed, I do apologize. You can send one other card from your hand to fill to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, and one level 7 Royal Starlight monster from your deck. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. The turn you activate this effect except rank 7 exceeds monsters. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 Royal Starlight monsters in your graveyard. 1 monster, 1 spell trap, add them to your hand. Then if you add 2 cards to this effect, send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard. This card seems perfectly fine. Royal Starlight Inheritor Perseus. You can reveal this card from your hand, then reveal 1 other Royal Starlight or level 7 monster from your hand. Special summon this card, then you can special summon the revealed monster in defense position. If this card is normal special summon, you can send 1 Royal Starlight monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is detached to activate a rank 7 exceeds monsters effect, you can target 1 Royal Starlight monster from your graveyard or banishment, except Royal Starlight Inheritor Perseus, special summon it. If you special summoned a non-exceeds monster with this effect, negate its effects. You can only use each effect of it, Royal Starlight Inheritor Perseus, once per turn. The other problem that you're going to have, by the way, is... The other problem that you're going to have, by the way, is that all your monsters are decently statted. So, what you could do with this deck is you put it in Ray's Moon, and then you combine it with Phydralis Harmonia, which is also a level 7 monster, and you just don't play an extra deck. You just play a bunch of Synchro monsters in your extra deck. You use Phydralis. You use Ray's Moon to draw into Phydralis. Phydralis comes down, it dumps cards from your extra deck to control your opponent's board, and then you just summon the Royal Starlight monsters on your turn to get lethal. It was meant to work with older rank 7 decks like Kashtira, but Konami somehow screwed me over and released another rank 7 deck that can abuse it. Well, I mean, that's the problem. That's why you can't make decks generic. That's why making decks generic is a bad idea. If you special summon a non-exceeds monster with this effect, negate its effects. Okay. Royal Starlight Maiden Skilla. You can reveal this card from your hand, then you can reveal 1 other Royal Starlight monster or 1 level 7 monster from your hand. Special summon this card, then you can take the special summon, and you special summon the revealed monster in defense position. If this card is normal special summon, you can target 1 Royal Starlight card in your graveyard or banishment, add it to your hand. If this card is detached to activate a rank 7 exceeds monster's effect, you can target 1 other card on the field and destroy it. The other thing you need to understand, by the way, is that for the monsters that don't lock you, like this one, so you do have quite a few monsters that lock you, right? But for the monsters that don't lock you, you can just put them in Ursa Arctics. And then they're just tribute fodder for Ursa Arctics. Next up is Royal Starlight Bonding Time. When you activate this card, you can reveal 1 Royal Starlight or 1 level 7 monster from your hand. Take 1 Royal Starlight card from your deck, except Royal Starlight Bonding Time. Either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Then if you revealed a monster when you activate this card, special summon 1 level 7 monster from your hand or graveyard. If you special summon a monster from the graveyard with this effect, negate its effects. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect except rank 7 monsters, and you can only activate 1 Royal Starlight Bonding Time per turn. Okay. Royal Starlight Memorial Performance. Reveal 1 level 7 monster or 1 other Royal Starlight from your hand or field, draw 1 card, then you can apply this effect. Send the revealed card to the graveyard. If you do, draw 1 card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target up to 2 level 7 monsters with different names from your graveyard and or banishment. Special summon them, and if you do, their attributes become light, then immediately that resolves. Exceed summon 1 Royal Starlight Exceeds monster from your extra deck using monsters that you control as material. You can only use 1 Royal Starlight Memorial Performance effect per turn, and only once that turn. Then we have Royal Starlight Standby. Activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Target a Royal Starlight monster from your graveyard or banishment, special summon it. Then if you special summon an Exceeds monster with this effect, attach 1 Royal Starlight card from your graveyard or banishment to that monster as material. And then detach 1 material from an Exceeds monster you control, target 1 monster your opponent controls, and destroy it. And lastly, target 1 rank 7 Exceeds monster you control, attach 1 Royal Starlight monster from your deck or graveyard to it as material. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Because this is something that I've seen from you basically every week. Alright, it is true that K9 is a very similar concept to this. So I can understand where your ideas come from. But, 2 important things to note. Number 1, K9 is broken. K9 was the best deck in 2025. It won Worlds. It got heavily nerfed, which is why the only reason that it's not one of the best decks ongoing. And it required a whole lot of power creep as well. And the game has become a lot worse since K9 was released. Because to bring K9 to a manageable level, they have had to print a bunch of ridiculously powerful cards. So K9 is not an archetype you should be basing your goals off of. But even if that was the case, if you take a look at K9, K9, while it does improve a generic rank 5 engine, it does so with only 2 cards. So Noroi summons a K9 monster. Lupus revives itself and can Exceed summon. Izuna mills a K9 card. Okay? The only cards that actually interface with level 5s generically are Jokul, which allows you to reveal both this card and another level 5 monster in your hand, special summon both, and Lantern, which allows you to target... No, even Lantern requires a K9 monster specifically. So there's only one generic level 5 support card in K9. Now, granted, that's all that's needed to make decks like K9 Vanquish Soul and K9 Crystons functional and useful. But when you have a deck that is nothing but generic level 7 support and generic level 8 support, that's when it becomes an issue. Jokul is a card that can be restricted, it can be banned, it can be limited, it can be the deck can be balanced around how easy Jokul is to access. If your entire deck allows you to basically play another deck alongside your own deck, then it becomes basically impossible to balance when a deck like Raise Moon comes out. So that's why I'm letting you know that your design philosophy from the start is essentially never going to last, and therefore your cards would all eventually get banned. You have to be more careful about this. Royal Starlight's Illustrious Love. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card or a monster effect while you control a Royal Starlight Exceeds monster, send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, negate the activation, then apply one of these effects. Either destroy it, and if you do, both players take 500 damage, or banish it, and if you do, both players gain 1,000 life points. During the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Royal Starlight monster from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. A searchable counter trap that is an Omni Negates in a deck that basically could just play one Royal Starlight Exceeds and then just go full Kashtira is a bit much. Royal Starlight Dominator Indomitable. Rank 7 light Exceeds monster. Requires 2 level 7 Royal Starlights. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has a Royal Starlight card as material. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is Exceeds summon, you can draw 1 card. Nice. When your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate the activation, then you can apply one of the following effects based on the card negated. Monster, take control of that monster, but it cannot attack and is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. Spell or trap, banish it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Let's see. Yeah, something, level 5, bad, holy artwork. Thank you, Iforgor. A rank 7 Omni Negate. Right now, I think we have one. Hold on, let me see. Or maybe I'm thinking of Lancelot. So we have Lusterex, which is a targeted monster negate, but it's only a quick effect if you're playing Quantals. Eclipse is a spell and trap negate, but that requires specifically dragon monsters. So yeah, okay, yeah. Currently, we don't have a generic negate at the rank 7 level, which is fine. I mean, if we don't have one, then it's okay to get one. Royal Starlight Illuminator Illustrious. Requires 2 level 7 Royal Starlight monsters. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has a Royal Starlight card as material. If this card exceeds 7, you can set one Royal Starlight spell or trap directly from your deck. As a quick effect, you can attach one material from this card, apply one of these effects on the field, target one card on the field, apply one of these effects. Destroy it, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack and defense. Banish it, and if you do, monsters your opponent currently controls lose 500 attack and defense. It's once per turn. Okay, so it's a pop. That's fine. Royal Starlight Trailblazer Prince of Wales. This is not a prince by any stretch of the imagination. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. While this card has a Royal Starlight card as material, you can only use the following effects once per turn. You can attach one material from this card, take one Royal Starlight monster from your deck, and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position. And during your turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can attach one material from this card. The activated effect becomes both players take 1,000 damage. Okay, so the burn support makes it a bit dangerous in Red Eyes. It's not the worst thing in the world for Red Eyes to get more burn, but if it's like 3 cards that give it burn, you're quickly reaching the point where Red Eyes might actually be able to FTK, which is a bit concerning. He's a whale, Seraphi? Which one's a whale? As in a spender. Who? Which he are you talking about? Royal Starlight Warrior Formidable. Rank 7, 2 level 7s, including a Royal Starlight monster. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while this card has a Royal Starlight as material. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card exceeds 7, you can reveal one other Royal Starlight monster from your hand or graveyard. This card gains attack and defense equal to half the revealed monster's attack. As a quick effect, you can attach one material from this card, then activate one of these effects. Target one monster your opponent controls until the end phase, changes its attack and defense to 0, also negate its effects. Or this turn, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. During each battle phase. Okay. A targeted Titanicider is fine. That's like a cool idea. It's a quick effect, which is a little bit... It does require at least one Royal Starlight, so it's not generic. So I think that's fine. The Prince of Wales. I see. No, that's not what this card's called. Okay. So yeah. Basically, what I was saying is just like, yeah, you can't just make generic support for a level. That doesn't work. At least not with like 8 cards. You can make like 2 or 3. All right, it's an hour in. We still have 4 full decks plus how many cards in the Discord? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. $18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So we are probably got another hour or so. All right, let's get started. What is this? Marathians. What was Marathians? Who submitted this? I believe this is Winter. Okay. Winter. Your deck time. Okay. Sir Ratalot. Marathian Defender. Level 6. Earth Beast. 2000 attack, 2000 defense. You tribute one Earth monster, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls an Earth monster. Oh no! Why are we printing Magnet Warrior support right now? Oh my god. Is Magnet Warrior still tier 3? Looks like it's fallen off since Magistus came out. Interesting. It's like people are playing Fairy Tail instead of Magnet Warriors, looks like. Magnet Warrior is still...
game character.
Magnet Warrior is still pretty high up there, though. Let's see. Magnet Warrior is, like, not far off from the top. It's right under Enneacraft, which is one of the most played decks in the game right now. So, we don't need to buff Magnet Warriors right now. Come on, guys. Alright. Once per turn, if another Mithrathan monster or token you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can discard one card instead. During the end phase of this card left the field this turn, you can send one Marathian card from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. Looks like this is supposed to be played in Vernisylphs, but, I mean, Magnet Warriors would abuse this. If this entire deck is just Earth summoned from graveyard by attributing Earth while your opponent controls Earth, and also make your opponent's monsters Earth, or give them Earth monsters, then this is going to be just a Magnet Warrior slot pile. I'm calling it now. Magnet Warriors was tiered, huh? Yeah, not long ago. Alright, let's see. Minty Marathian Adventurer. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 2 Marathian spells from your deck to your hand. During your main phase, if you control a continuous spell, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. During the end phase, if this card left the field this turn, you contribute 1 Earth monster, special summon 1 Marathian monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. Okay, so this card draws you 2 Marathian spells. So, if this card can be milled, then all you have to do is you make... Because, what's his name? Magnet Warriors already make Cross Sheep as one of their main monsters. So, you could just special summon a fusion monster, then special summon another monster to the zone Cross Sheep points to, and then bring Minty back from your graveyard, draw your 2 spell cards, and then start tributing Minty and your other monsters to do your Marathian combo. It would not be very very good. I only see Block Dragon support. But, well, I mean, that's what it is, right? Like Earth, generic Earth graveyard support is Adamancipator, Magnet Warrior, Vernisylph, Block Dragon. That's what it is. So that's... Magnet Warriors are like the best version of it. Yurdle the Wandering Key Shop. This artwork is disturbing. Why does the turtle's head appear inside of its body? In what possible context would it make sense for a creature's head to be in this position on its overall body? I think I'm going to vomit. This looks like your spine has been like twisted, and you're forcing your head to pop out a hole that's not supposed to be in. Ugh. God, you guys submit the worst art. Level 6, Earth Sea Serpent. Turtles are not sea serpents. This is a reptile. This card is always treated as a Marathian card. You can reveal this card and one Marathian card in your hand. Immediate aspect resolves. Normal summon one Earth monster. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you can special summon one jar token to either field. Then you can destroy one card on the field or in your hand. Okay. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute one jar token from either field. Special summon this Earth monster from your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, at least you're not forcing your opponent's monsters to become Earth. You're just giving them Earth monsters. Giving your opponent a token is fine. Like, that turns off a lot of effects. It prevents them from summoning monsters if they control no monsters. In particular, right now, with Elf Note being one of the best decks in the game, if you summon the token to the middle monster zone, then that will probably cause your opponent to have to tribute summon one of their monsters. They wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't, like, stop playing Elf Note, but they would have to use their normal summon to summon one of their level 6s by tributing the token to the middle monster zone, which would definitely cause some conflict with their main lines. So, I like token summoning to your opponent's side of the field. I don't like summoning any monster to your opponent's side of the field. That's a terrible idea. And I also don't like swapping control of monsters. But giving your opponent a token is fine. That's an okay thing to do. Rukith Mirathan Court Collar. Okay, the artwork for this card looks much better. Earth Winged Beast, level 4. During the main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can add one Town of a 2 from your deck to your hand. If you do, gain 500 life points. If a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster is special summon, you can add one level 5 or higher Marathian monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Well, dang, like, why are we doing... Okay, hold on. I thought the point of this was that they were all Earths. Now there's Tri-Brigade support here. Like, what... You gotta be consistent with your what you're concerned with. But okay, fine. Marathian Guildmaster. This is a level 6 Earth Beast monster. If a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast is special summoned, okay, not an Earth monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can add one Marathian spell from your deck to your hand. If a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster is special summoned, you can draw one card. You can discard this one card, then target one Earth monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn after you use any of this card's effects except fusion monsters. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, so this card has has a block on it, which is good, but it probably means it wouldn't see play. So we probably just exclude this card because it's so far the only one that's locked us, and we just play the other cards. Traveling Marathian Merchant. It's called being an all-rounder. Duh. Okay. Level 4 Earth Beast. If this card is normal or special summon, you can reveal 3 Marathian monsters from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand, then shuffle the rest into the deck. Then you can reveal one non-beast Earth monster in your hand. If you do, special summon one cat token to both players' fields. During the end phase, if this card left the field this turn, you can draw one card. See, now this card is 100% going in Magnet Warriors. It gives you link material. It gives your opponent an Earth monster. It special summons It triggers off of revealing non-beast Earth monsters in your hand, which means that you just play a bunch of rocks. Like, this is really good. And there are ways that you could special summon this card. You don't have to normal summon it. So yeah, I feel like this is just an engine that would just give Magnet Warriors a bunch of extra link material that they don't need. Stone Golem, and especially like all the spell and trap drawing. Like, Magnet Warriors don't play continuous spells, and they don't really play field spells either. Like, their back row is generally empty, so they have room to dump a bunch of spell cards if there's a engine that will draw them spell cards that are just generically useful. Stone Golem Guardian. This card is always treated as a Marathian card. You can discard this card, add one Mossmere Village from your deck to your hand, and if you do, gain 500 life points. You can tribute one continuous spell, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal, special summon, you can normal summon one Marathian monster from your hand. So, That's not how you would word this. You would say, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can immediately after this effect resolves normal summon one Marathan monster from your hand. You don't normal summon in the middle of resolution. You do it at the you do it on its own chain. You can send one Marathan monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Stone Golem Guardian. You can only use each effect of Stone Golem Guardian once per turn. Sure, this is fine. Marathan Adventurers. This is a level 6 Earth Beast Warrior monster. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target tokens for attacks. Also, they cannot target tokens with card effects. As a quick effect, you can tribute one Marathan monster, so summon this card from your hand or graveyard. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one dog token. During the end phase, if this card left the field this turn, you can destroy one card on the field. See, now this makes a lot more sense, right? Like, this is Marathans that you contribute. So, I feel like you should have changed this deck to, first of all, have more fusion locks, and secondly, you should have changed it to where you contribute Earth tokens or Marathan monsters. So you don't have this problem of just being a generic Earth support deck that gives you a bunch of Link tokens. Marathan Entrepreneurs. You can discard this card, add one Peddler's Perch from your deck to your hand if you do gain 500 life points. If this card is normal or special summon, you can take one Marathan monster from your graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon it. And during the end phase, if this card left the field this turn, you can add one Marathan monster from your deck to your hand, except Marathan Entrepreneurs. You can only use each effect once per turn. Another thing you should understand, by the way, is even if you ignore the obvious Magnet Warrior synergy, even something like Naturia, which theoretically could have a decent amount of synergy with this deck, you have a level 4 starter monster that's an Earth Beast, and then you just summon Mole Cricket, and now, boom, you've got Naturia Beast, one of the most broken cards in the entire game. So you have to be really, really careful with generic Earth support. I would like to refresh the Amphorian deck link. Some stuff got updated. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Post the new deck link in chat. I was not close to reviewing it yet, so I have plenty of time to get it from the Discord again. Marathan Wedding. Fusion summon one Earth Fusion monster from your X deck, using monsters from your hand or field as material. If you fusion summon a Marathan Fusion monster this way, you can also shuffle Earth monsters from your graveyard into the deck as material. You can banish one other Marathan card from your graveyard, add this card from your graveyard to your hand. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, shuffle this card into the deck. You cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of this turn after you use this card as effects, except for fusion monsters. Okay, so this is a polymerization that allows you to also Miracle Contact. And it can also add itself from grave to hand by banishing another card. This is a bit of a problem. Just a tiny bit, okay? The issue is, right, like, let's say that you have 3 Marathan monsters on your field. You fuse them all together. Then you banish one of them, you get back your Marathan Wedding, you activate it, you use the same 2 monsters that you used on the field as material to fusion summon again by shuffling them back. And then you do it again. You can potentially fuse more monsters from your hand. You could use the 2 fusion monsters that are on the field as material, fuse them off, and then you just loop again. So, the idea is really interesting. But the fact that you're not, like, you have 2 options, right? There's 2 ways you could try and balance this, so it doesn't just become a ridiculous loop. The easiest way is to make the recursion effect once per turn. The fusion summon effect is fine. You can do the fusion effect as many times as you want. But you should not be able to just banish cards over and over again to get this card back to your hand so that you can keep fusion summoning with it. I understand that you can do that with Gem Knight Fusion, but Gem Knight Fusion does not allow you to shuffle cards from the graveyard as fusion material, so you can't recycle the materials for multiple fusion summons. The other option would be to have Marathan Wedding banish the cards from the field. So you could either banish cards from your hand or field, or shuffle cards from your graveyard into the deck. That way, you can't send the cards and then use them as material a second time over and over and over again. Now, I assume sending them to the graveyard and then using them as material is the point, which is fine. In that case, you just need to make sure that you can only loop it once as opposed to infinitely. Nice lesson, thank you. All right. Town of Awu. This is not a field spell. Oh, okay. Marathian monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can discard one card, special summon a jar token, to either field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle one card from your graveyard into the deck, gain 500 life points. The naming scheme might seem odd, but in actuality, I mentioned in Discord that it was named after IRL ships coming from the Royal Navy, which other ships in Azure Lane are named after. But I don't read anything that you guys say in the Discord, because I don't want to be spoiled. So, any context that you give me does not get considered when I make this video. During the end phase, except the turn this card was activated, tribute one monster or destroy this card. You can only control one Town of Wu. Okay. This is fine. I don't know what the reference is, but I mean, it looks nice. Marathian Odyssey. Target up to 3 Marathian monsters you control. Return them to the hand, then you can special summon up to 3 Earth monsters with different names for you. My dude. Okay. Let me get this straight. So, we're going to normal summon Traveling Marathian Merchant. We're going to reveal 3 monsters. Our opponent is then going to pick one of them to add to our hand. Then we summon a token. Then we get to activate Marathian Odyssey. Take this monster back to our hand. Then we can summon 3 Earth monsters from our hand. Any of them. Any 3 Earth monsters we want. Just because we normal summoned. That's what you want to tell me? That's a little bit broken, sir. Now, I'm hoping that the idea is that you can summon as many monsters as the number that you returned. But you did not say that in this card. So, this becomes a massive plus for no reason. And the lock is only for the rest of the turn. Now, it does lock you into fusion summoning for the rest of the turn, but still, that's ridiculous. Oh dear, what the heck is that? E-Telly on steroids. Yeah. Alright, okay. This card needs some serious work. Are you lost? This card is always treated as a Marathian card. If you control no monsters, or if you control a token, special summon one Marathian monster from your deck. Then, if you do not control a token, special summon a cat token. During the end phase, you can shuffle one continuous spell from your graveyard into the deck, add this card to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters for the extra deck for the rest of the turn after you use any of this card's effects except fusion monsters. Okay. Card's fine. This one is very much Marathian. Looks like it would work really well with the archetype, so no problems there. Hello, Steernay the Duelist. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are enjoying our discussion about custom cards. Also, I got Master, in case you didn't see. Marathian Recovery. Add one Marathian card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. If an Earth monster is sent to your graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and special summon one Marathian monster from your hand or graveyard. During the end phase, if this card is banished, you can shuffle this card and one other banished card into the deck. You cannot special summon monsters for the extra deck for the rest of the turn after you use this effects except fusion monsters. You can only use one Marathian Recovery per turn. If an Earth monster is sent to your graveyard, banish this card, special summon a Marathian monster from your hand or graveyard. Seems okay. What is the artwork for this? This all looks like it's mostly from the same thing, but I don't know what it is. It kind of looks like Melfi, to be honest. Like, this is a very similar art style to Melfi, but it's not Melfi. But I don't know what this is supposed to be. Mossmere Village, also not a field spell. Earth monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. That's fine, even though it's generic Earth support. Attack and defense is not that big a deal. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that targets a card on the field, or when a card is targeted for attack, You can target one monster you control, change it to face-down defense position. Then you can change one monster on the field to face-up defense position. Interesting. Could you play that in ninjas? A soft once per turn. Well, it's a soft once per turn, but you can only control one. But a soft once per turn that just lets you set your monsters face down whenever a card is targeted. I feel like that would be really good in ninjas. Huh. It would obviously be insane in Enneacraft, but I don't think that I don't know. Enneacraft is weird. Like, they have so many good generic cards they can play that this card would probably not make the cut over something like Sol and Luna or the Floodgate, the level 6 light monster that makes it so that monsters' effects can't be activated, or sorry, no, not that one. The one that says your opponent can't special summon any monsters, or you could also play Zaborg the Mega Monarch and just banish your opponent's entire extract. But it's not searchable, so it's weird. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, this is not searchable, so it's kind of like it kind of almost seems like it would be tempting in ninjas. I don't see any synergy for Marathons, though. They don't have any flip effects. Maybe one of the fusion monsters does, but this card seems very random. Peddler's Perch. Once per turn, you can discard one Earth monster or one spell card, draw a card. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can declare one Marathon monster card name that is not among the monsters you control and has not been declared for Peddler's Perch this turn. Tribute an Earth monster, and if you do, special summon the declared monster from your hand or graveyard. During the end phase, except the turn this card was activated, tribute one monster or destroy this card. Okay, so that gives you a reason to play a bunch of tokens. Seems fine. I don't see a problem with this. It only works for Marathon monsters, so it's fine. Luma Shrine. Once per turn, you can target one Marathon monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but return it to the hand during the end phase. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can target one continuous spell card in either graveyard, banish it, or if you control a Marathon fusion monster, you can place it face up on your field. If a Marathon monster you control is tributed, you can shuffle one card from your graveyard or banishment into the deck. You can only control one Luma Shrine. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right. I'm going to drop the complaints about Magnet Warriors for a second, because I am generous, right? Let's pretend that these cards are not good enough for Magnet Warriors. And we'll just say, okay, what about just generic support for a generic Earth Beast, Beast Warrior, Wing Beast archetype, right? Like, that's what this is clearly meant to do, right? Let's say Gladiator Beasts, okay? So you could summon two of these monsters. You can link them into the new Tri-Brigade Mauser. Mauser then mills two Tri-Brigade cards, which is going to be your your kits and your Nerval, and then Nerval will draw you Fractal, and then you could potentially also draw Karis. Then you just get Shuraig. So you just immediately go into Shuraig. You can then link Shuraig and Mauser off in order to make what's her name? The Farragut, the girl that has the unnecessary tummy shot. Once you've done that, then you get to search with the Shuraig. You draw your Rescue Cat. And now you can special summon Rescue Cat from your hand. Then you can go into two level 3 Earth Beasts. Is one of these level 3? No, so you would just make Marathon Adventure. You special summon both of those, you link them off, and that would let you go into... actually, you could just go into... you could special summon Giselle, and then Giselle would just let you go into... You would be able to go basically full Gladiator Beast combo, And Gladiator Beasts don't really care about being fusion locked because most of their monsters are fusion monsters. So, the question becomes exactly what you're hoping to accomplish with the archetype. If you're hoping for a generic, like, Earth Beast support deck, I do think these cards would probably see play in some variant of Tri-Brigade Gladiator Beast. But I don't know that's what you want, right? Like, I mean, it seems fine, right? Gladiator Beast's not that broken. You give them a few more starters, and then all they're going to do is consistently summon 2 monster negates and a spell and trap negate that negates infinitely. But you have to discard a card every time you use it, which can be very oppressive and very annoying for a lot of people. Also, you get a counter trap. But at the end of the day, it would probably only be low rogue. I think that's probably fine. It just, I don't know. Don't forget to like the live stream and join us on the Discord to share your custom cards. Please pin earlier notice. Sure. Hold on, let me see. Are you not able to pin messages as a moderator? Okay. Not being rude, I just don't know. I don't know what you guys can do. Grumble the Defender. This is a level 6 Earth Beast fusion monster. It's a fusion of Marathan monster plus 1 warrior or beast warrior monster. Your opponent cannot target this card you control with card effects. When your opponent activates a card effect that includes an effect that destroys a card, or when a monster your opponent controls declares an attack, you attribute this card, negate that card or effect, or attack. But it is once per turn. Okay. During the end phase, if this card left the field this turn, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay. So, it's a Stardust Dragon, basically. Yeah, that's fine. I wonder if you would do a tier list on some custom archetypes based on their power level or potential probably later on. If you guys pay for it. Ember the Hero. 1 level 1 Earth Beast fusion monster. It's a fusion of a Marathan monster plus 1 warrior or beast warrior monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 Marathan monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, but its effects are negated. Once per turn, if an Earth monster you control is tributed, as a quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Negate its effects until the end of this turn, and if you do, the card gains 500 attack points. If this fusion summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Marathan card from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, let's see. So, if an Earth monster is tributed, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and negate its effects. And we can do that with the Peddler's Perch, right? If your opponent special summons a monster. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That seems perfectly fine. It just gives you some interruption. The Great Hen. Level 6 Earth Winged Beast Fusion Monster. A fusion of a Marathan monster plus a fusion monster or a Winged Beast monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add 1 Marathan card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. When your opponent activates a card or effect, gain 100 life points. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon 1 Egg token, which is a rock, apparently. As a quick effect, you can tribute 1 Earth monster. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your hand or field as material. You can only use your effect once per turn. Alright, so you can't fusion summon Gladiator Beast monsters. So, right? Like, what does Gladiator Beast Uprising do? Hold on, let me see. Gladiator Beast United. Shuffle from your deck, hand, or field monster. The fusion materials that are listed on a Gladiator Beast fusion monster. Then special summon that monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summon conditions. Yeah. So you can't fusion summon Gladiator Beast fusion monsters. Okay. So this card would only let you basically summon like Starham or itself, like a you know, like these monsters. Is Starham super disruptive if you can quick fuse it? Let's see. Master of Ham. If this card is fusion summoned, you can special summon one flip monster from your hand or deck in face down defense position. That would allow you to start, like, you could summon a Tori Mar. But a Tori Mar is only an Omni Negate on your turn. It's not an Omni Negate on your opponent's turn. I don't like the idea of, like, just turboing out any craft in this deck. I think this card should fusion. Like, maybe it shouldn't fusion. It should Beast, Warrior, and Wing Beast lock you for the rest of the turn. That should be fine. Hi, hello, Eastern Warrior 3876. Welcome to the stream. The Gourd Master. Oh, I see. This monster's an Aqua. Why do you have an Aqua monster? Oh, right, and you do have a Sea Serpent, don't you? Man, that's awkward. There has to be a lock on this card. You can't just summon any... Like, you can't just summon a Tori Mar in the middle of your beast turn. That's weird. Oh, my God. I tribute my egg. I fusion summon Master of Ham. I drop a whale in the middle of my field. Deal with it. Alright. The Gourd Master. Level 8. Earth Aqua. Is that a thing that exists? Earth Aqua. There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Earth Aqua monsters in the entire game. And most of them are Gem Knights. Zexal Weapon Ultimate Shield is apparently an Earth one. Is apparently an Earth monster. I thought all the Zexal weapons were light. Okay. If a Earth monster is special summoned, you can special summon a Jar token. When your opponent activates a card affected, you contribute one Earth token. Target one monster your opponent controls negate that effect, and if you do that, target is unaffected by its card effects this turn, except its own. Then if you have 4 more continuous in your field or graveyard, I assume continuous spells, in your field or graveyard, it cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. During the end phase of this card left the field this turn, you contribute 2 monsters, 1 token, and 1 Earth monster, special summon this card from your graveyard. See, now this is more interesting, right? This says you contribute an Earth token, then target a monster your opponent you control and negate its effects, and if negate that effect, if you do that, target card is unaffected by card effects this turn, except its own. So, I feel like this deck would be way more interesting if all of your tribute effects required that you tribute specifically a token. That would be way better, because then you'd actually have a reason to commit to playing all these other cards. And you don't need to enforce it with a lock. If you require that they actually require that you to make all these tokens, then first of all, you feel better for making all the tokens. You don't just use them as link material, which is part of your problem, is that they'll all be used as link material. And then you can actually, like, get benefit out of keeping them on the field. So, I feel like there's not enough payoff for this deck, for playing this deck correctly, right? And if you have all your cards have good effect, you could even buff some of these cards by saying that you have to tribute specifically a token, and then you get like a slightly better effect than you already have. And then you actually kind of enforce your archetype. What do I have to do to have my custom cards looked at? You have to join the Discord, my Discord, which is in the that's in the any one of my streams, like any one of my videos is a link. And then you post them in the custom card submissions. It's too late for you to consider it right now, but you would be in next Sunday's video. I do it every Sunday. Let's see. And then lastly, King Chonk of Azotus. This is a level 10 Earth Beast fusion monster. It's a fusion of specifically Minty, Marathan, Adventurer, plus 2 Earth monsters with different types. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. Quick effect, you can pay 500 life points, target 1 card on the field, and return it to the hand. You can activate this card you can activate this effect a number of times each turn, up to the number of Marathan monsters that have been special summoned this turn. That is insane. I guess you do have to pay life points for it. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add 1 Lunar Shrine from your deck to your hand. If you do, gain 1,000 life points. If this fusion summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon up to 3 Earth monsters from your graveyard with different types from your hand, or up to 3 Earth monsters with different types from your hand or graveyard, except this card. Seems fine. I like this card. Seems this card is a good payoff. I like it a lot. This deck does feel a lot like Melfi to me, both in art style and in like how it plays out, and I think that's fine. I want this deck to be good. I just feel like it's really open for abuse, the way that it's written. Okay, next up is, what is his name? Seeker Gray, with some Mimigul support. And Seeker Gray is respectful of my time and only submitted 4 cards. Mimigul Jump Scare. This is a quick play spell card. You can reveal 2 Mimigul cards in your deck, apply the following effect based on those revealed cards. 2 monsters special summon both in defense position, but negate their effects until the end phase. Then immediately the effect resolves. You can Xyz summon 1 Xyz monster using only those 2 monsters. If it's 2 spells or traps, you can shuffle 1 card from your opponent's field into the deck. And if it's 1 monster and 1 spell or trap, discard 1 card, then add those revealed cards to your hand. During the end phase, if your opponent has activated a flip monster's flip effect, you can set this card from your graveyard, but shuffle it into the deck when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Mimicable Jump Scare once per turn. Okay, cool. So, basically, you reveal, you activate this card, you reveal, your, what is it called? The starter, the insane one. Mimigul Maker. You reveal Mimigul Maker and probably Mimigul Dragon. You discard a card, then you get to draw both of them. Which is fine. I mean, that's really good search. It really sets up your deck very well. But this deck is not super insane, so that's fine. Hello, Vertical Keyboard. Welcome to the Discord. Alright. Now then. Next up is Mimigul Haste. This is a continuous trap. Is that Treasure Panda? This is good artwork. This is artwork of, like, Treasure Panda sneaking out of, like a room. And Mimigul Dragon, Mimigul Cerberus, and Mimigul, the rank one, are chasing him. And you see this, like, really cool artwork of, like, the Mimigul Xyz monster's, like, long skeletal arm, like, pulling itself down the hallway. Like, this is, I don't know who drew this. This is really good. This card can be activated the turn it was set if you control a Mimigul Master or Mimigul Dungeon. When this card is activated, you contribute 1 Mimigul monster or a face-up monster on its owner's opponent's field to draw 1 card. Once per turn, if you control Mimigul Master or Mimigul Dungeon, you can target 1 card on your opponent's field or in their graveyard, negate that card's effects, and banish that card. Then if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay, so this is Primite Drill Beam. But it doesn't recur itself. Primite Drill Beam is a really good card, but it also does exist. And this card is a trap. You can activate it at the turn that it was set, but it's still probably fine. Like, Primite Drill Beam is like a good card, but I don't think that... Part of the reason that Primite Drill Beam seems so much play is because it can be played in basically any deck. This is specifically Mimigul's. And I feel like Primite Drill Beam is like a really solid starting point for Interruption. Yeah, it's a generic Omni-Negate that will, banishing a card is very disruptive, but that is like a good baseline power for a trap card to have, because trap cards are so bad. So I feel like this card, I like this card. I do think this card's very good. And these 2 cards would make Mimigul's a lot better. And Mimigul is a bad deck, so that's fine. Next up is Mimigul Worm. Again, the artwork looks fantastic. I don't know where he got this artwork from. Someone who actually really likes Mimiguls made this artwork, and I'm very impressed by it. Rank 1 Rock Xyz monster requires 2 or more level 1 Earth monsters. You can only control 1 Mimigul Worm. If this card is Xyz summon, you can set 1 Mimigul monster from your hand or graveyard to your opponent's field. That's awesome. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per chain... hold on. Okay. You would not say it like this. I have to interrupt because, like, I like this deck. I like this art, this support. I do this for everybody. You are not setting a monster. You are special summoning a monster in face-down defense position. That is important for you to specify because it subjects you to all the restrictions of special summoning a monster. Therefore, you cannot activate the effect, for example, if you are forbidden from special summoning for the turn for some other reason. So, because we are explicitly stating that you are special summoning a monster, therefore, if you would be prohibited from special summoning a monster, it doesn't work. If there's an effect that your opponent can activate when you would special summon a monster, they can activate it. This is not just setting a card. Regardless. Once per chain is a quick effect. You can detach 1 material from a Mimigul Xyz monster you control that this card has not detached a material from this turn. Target 2 cards on the field. If you own at least one of the targeted cards, if face down, reveal it to check. Return both cards to their owner's hand. Interesting. Detach a material, target 2 cards, and if you own at least one of them, bounce them. I love that. I would play this in Mimigul. This card, I would play this card. That's good. That's a good card. Wow, I'm blown away, Seeker Gray. These are some really good support cards. You really actually put a lot of work into this. All right. And lastly, we have a Link monster. It's a Link to Mimigul Dungeon Master. It's an Earth zombie monster. 2 non-token Earth flip monsters. My dude. What token is a flip monster? Why do you feel the need to specify this? What have you guys been... Is this like some weird custom archetype? Like, has someone come up with a token flip deck? And now you guys have to balance around the fact that token flip decks exist in your communities? Y'all are crazy. Alright, whatever. The artwork is great. He's carrying like a broken sword that he's basically like taped together, which is awesome. It's really hard for you guys to see the broken sword. I'm highlighting it with my mouse, but like I can see it very clearly, and it looks great. This card's name becomes Mimigul Master while on the field or in the graveyard. You can only summon Mimigul monsters. Okay, that's fine. If your opponent controls 4 or more monsters, you can special summon this card from your extra deck by sending 1 Mimigul card from your hand and 1 Mimigul Master from your hand or deck to the graveyard. This is treated as a Link summon. I would say that you can only special summon a card by this effect once per turn. If this card is Link summon, return 1 card your opponent controls to its owner's hand, then special summon 1 Mimigul monster from your hand or graveyard to either field to a main monster zone. A Link monster points to in face up or face down defense position. That's a mandatory effect. And because it's a mandatory effect, that means it would go on the stack before any other triggered effects that happened when this card was Link summoned. Which I don't think that has any implications for Mimigul, but it's just something to keep in mind. I assume it was meant to be 2 Earth flips to be made, but maybe it wasn't updated. Maybe. You can target 1 Mimigul monster on your field or in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then you can change 1 face down monster on the field to face up attacker or defense position. Yeah, no, this one's pretty weak. This This is very similar to, I think it's Archfiend, right? There's one of them that, like, forces your opponent to flip face up. Oh, no, it's Master. Isn't it Master? Yeah, it's Master. This card's, like, it's like another copy of Master, which is fine. Like, you might want Master to be an extra deck monster. But, I don't feel like an easy summoning... I understand that Mimigools are typically face-down monsters, but I don't feel like a cheat link summoning effect is, like, needed for the deck, first of all, and I don't feel like this card adds too much to the strategy. Like, these cards all feel like they are unique, useful, and very nice for Mimigools to have. And then this card feels like just, like, I want to make sure that I have Master, which this card should make sure that you have Master. So these 3 cards are fantastic. This card's meh. Good job. Next up, Seeker Gray added one more card of his own creation. Quinn's Quantum Quadratic Quandary. A quick play spell card. As Chain Link 4. If your opponent has activated a card effect in the same chain, activate one of these effects. Draw 3 cards, then send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard. Add 1 monster with 15 or less attack defense from your deck to your hand. Tribute 1 monster and special summon 1 fusion monster from your X deck with the same level as the tributed monster. Excavate cards from the top of your deck until you excavate a monster that can be normal summoned or set. Special summon it, also send the excavated cards to the graveyard. Okay. So, that's really, really funny. Quinn's Quantum Quadratic Quandary. What he's done is he is saying that if your opponent has forced you into a Chain Link 4, you can now reach so deep into the past that you can activate one of the most broken cards ever from the past. The first effect is Graceful Charity, the second effect is Last Will, the third effect is Metamorphosis, and the fourth effect is Reasoning. That's really cool. I assume that he probably thought, he was probably sitting there thinking, how could I balance Graceful Charity? How could I make a Graceful Charity that works like Graceful Charity and make it legal? And as a Chain Link 4 that your opponent has voluntarily participated in is a pretty good way to balance Graceful Charity. I'm impressed. I like this card. It's a cute reference. It makes sense, you know, if you are blasting so much magic at each other that, you know, someone just, that you cause it, like, you know, you could rip a portal in time. That makes, I can see that. So yeah, I like this card a lot. 100%. As far as, like, a cute little generic idea, Graceful Charity as a Chain Link 4 has my vote. Okay. Great submissions from Secret Gray this week. Now, let's take a look at the other cards. So, we have Akashu's submissions. And first up, he has the Blumia deck, which he says that Winter and Chrono Jet helped him with the problem-solving card text for his monsters, so he appreciates them. Blumia Natura. Level 1 Earth Plant Monster. If this card is normal or special summon, add 1 Blumia monster from your deck to your hand. If your opponent controls a monster that has higher attack than this card, tribute this card, special summon 1 Bluma monster from your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect fusion summon 1 Bluma fusion monster. By shuffling this card and other materials needed for that fusion monster into their respective decks, you can only use this effect once per turn. Shuffling this card and other materials for that fusion monster into the respective deck from where? You don't specify if the other materials need to be in the graveyard, or if you can use cards from your hand or your field. It's very important that you specify where you're fusion summoning from. Okay. Blumia Purpurea. The problem-solving card text is not great. A head-scratcher for the most part. Got it. If a Blumia monster was tributed by a Blumia card effect special summons card from your hand, You can use this effect once per turn. If this card was special summoned by its own effect, your opponent must special summon one level 4 or lower monster from their hand or deck, but its effects are negated. A mandatory summon for your opponent. That's cool. If this card leaves the field by battle or card effect, fusion summon one Blumia fusion monster using this monster, one monster your opponent controls that has their effects negated as material. Banish this card if it was used as fusion material. You can only activate the effects once per turn. Okay, sure. Also, I think you missed the Amphoreons, but you can get to it once the other stuff is done. I mean, this card, Akushu submitted this before your Amphoreon deck, so I'm going in order. Blumia Dracopurpurea. Tribute one plant monster you control, special summon this card from your hand. You can special summon one Blumia Dracopurpurea once per turn this way. If you have a Blumia monster in your graveyard, shuffle one Blumia monster from your graveyard into the deck. Your opponent must special summon one level 4 lower monster from either their hand or their extra deck, but its effects are negated. If this card is in your graveyard, shuffle this card into your deck, special summon one Blumia monster from your hand. Okay. I like this, like, mandatory summoning for your opponent. Seems interesting. Blumia Draco Natura. Discard one Blumia card, special summon this card from your hand. You can use this effect once per turn. If the discarded card was Blumia Natura, you can shuffle that card into the deck and special summon one Blumia monster from your hand. If you control at least one more Blumia fusion monster, fusion summon one Blumia fusion monster using monster you control. Okay, sure. Seems fine. Blumia Sakura, a level 4 Earth Plant. If this card is summoned, reveal one monster from your hand. Your opponent also reveals one monster from your hand. I assume from their hand. Both players special summon the monsters to their corresponding fields with their effects negated. If you summon a Blumia monster by this effect during this turn, tribute this card, and both monsters that were special summoned by this card's effect, special summon one Blumia fusion monster from your extra deck or graveyard. Okay, and you don't have to meet its conditions. That's cool. Blumia Draconemus, level 2 Earth Plant monster. When this card is no more special summon one Blumia monster from your deck. You can use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, discard one Blumia monster. Your opponent must special summon, if able, a level 4 or lower monster from their graveyard. If they do that, that monster's effects are negated until the end of their next turn. Okay. Blumia Dracopapilio. I can't say too much without seeing the fusion monsters, but I will cover this. If you control a Blumia fusion monster, banish 2 Blumia monsters from your graveyard and this card from your hand. Special summon one Blumia fusion monster that's level 9 or lower from your extra deck. Okay. All right, here we go. Fusion monsters. Blumia Silva, level 6 Earth Plant Fusion Monster. It's a fusion of a Blumia monster plus one non-plant monster. If this card is fusion summoned, draw one card. If you drew a Blumia monster by this effect, reveal it, then add one super polymerization from your deck to your hand. While you control this card, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Blumia fusion monsters. Very nice. Okay, it draws you super poly, and your deck is a super poly deck. I like it. Blumia Draco Tinctura Saltus. 2 Blumia monsters plus a non-plant monster. If this card is fusion summoned, add one card that mentions fusion or Blumia in its card text from your graveyard to your hand. While you control this card, Blumia card effects cannot be negated. Once per turn, target one Blumia fusion monster from your graveyard and special summon that card. Sure, well, seems fine. Blumia Silva Arbor, a level 7 Earth Plant monster. Fusion of 2 Blumia monsters. If your opponent activates a card or effect as a quick effect, you can shuffle or tribute one Blumia card from your field. Special summon one Blumia monster from your graveyard. Once per turn, destroy one monster your opponent controls. Special summon a Blumia token that is a plant monster on your opponent's side of the field. That token cannot be used for extra deck summons except for fusion summons. So you give your opponent a Earth token that you can then super poly. That's a lot of fusion monsters. Blumia Folia, level 8 Earth Plant Fusion, which is a fusion of 3 Blumia monsters. You gain life points equal to the Blumia monster's attacks of monsters that leave the field. If this card is summoned by a Blumia card effect or by its own effect, monsters your opponent controls cannot be used for extra deck summons until the end of the turn. If this card is in your graveyard and a Blumia monster is tributed, as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, gain life points equal to this monster's defense points. If this effect resolves, you cannot fusion summon until the end of this turn. Okay. So life point gain, that makes perfect sense with plants. It also has, synergy with plant fusions. You could play this in Aroma. That's kind of cool. I like it a lot. Blumia Levidius Lympha, level 7 Earth Plant Fusion Monster. It's 3 Blumia monsters plus 1 non-plant monster. Blumia monsters you control cannot be tributed except by Blumia card effects. Once per turn, tribute 2 Blumia monsters you control. Your opponent must special summon one level 5 or higher monster from their extra deck, but its effects are negated until the end of the turn. If this card is attributed by a Blumia card effect, draw 3 cards. This effect of Blumia Lividus Lympha can be used once per turn. If this card is attributed by a Blumia card effect, draw 3. It's pretty strong. And it can tribute itself. Okay, I feel like if this card is it should say if this card is attributed by another Blumia card effect. You shouldn't be able to use its effect and then just go +3. That's a little bit wild. But otherwise, this seems fine. Blumia Silva Herba. 4 Blumia monsters plus 1 non-plant monster. That's a lot of materials. 3400 attack. While this card is on the field, your opponent must tribute 1 monster they control or discard 2 cards whenever they activate a monster effect. That's crazy. I don't know about... I mean, you do have to use 5 materials to make this card. Maybe if it was the 5... Maybe if you specified that the 5 materials had to be on the field, that would be justified. But right now you could just fusion summon them like with cards in your hand. And that's not so difficult. If your opponent tributes a monster as a quick effect, you can target 1 Blumia monster from your graveyard, special summon that target. If this card leaves the field because of an... and that's not once per turn. If this card leaves the field because your opponent's card effect, all Blumia fusion monsters you control gain 3,400 attack points. Also, banish all monsters your opponent controls face down. Okay. That's a lot of power. So yeah, I would say this card is probably okay because it's very difficult to summon, but you should specify that all the materials have to be on the field. So 4 Blumia monsters plus 1 non-plant... 4 Blumia monsters on the field plus 1 non-plant monster on the field. Blumia Claymore. 3/6/9. Also, this card should say must be fusion summoned, so you can't cheat summon it. 2 Blumia monsters plus 1 non-plant monster. If you control a Blumia fusion monster, during each standby phase, add 1 Blumia card from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, your opponent contributes a monster, banish this card from your graveyard, shuffle up to Thrive. Blumia cards from your graveyard into your deck, then draw 2 cards. That's fine. Yeah, that looks cool. He has, like, wood trumpets as antlers. Oh, and he's got, like earth horns coming out of his side, too. That's cool. I like that artwork. Blumia Draconivis Iris. This is not a plant. This is a furry. 2 Blumia monsters plus 1 effect monster. You can special summon this card from your extra deck or a graveyard by banishing the above materials from either field. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 level or rank 10 or lower monster your opponent controls. Special summon 1 Blumia Fuse monster from your graveyard or banishment. Then tribute that target. If you do special summon 1 Blumia token to your opponent's field. If your opponent special summon 4 or more monsters this turn, as a quick effect, you can banish 2 Blumia monsters and 1 effect monster from either field. If you do special summon this card from your graveyard, if this card is special summoned by this effect, banish all other cards on the field. You can only control 1 Iris. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it blows the entire field up. So you have two AoE banish effects in this super poly deck. Yeah, I mean this looks pretty powerful, but you are relying a lot on super poly, so I guess it's probably fine. Super poly is limited too. You're not always going to have it. Nature's Force of Annihilation. Quick play spell card. This card is always treated as a Blumia card. If you control a Blumia fusion monster that's level 7 or higher, and your opponent would activate an effect that targets a Blumia monster you control, negate all cards your opponent controls, and if you do, destroy all spells and traps they control, and they must send their hand to the graveyard. That seems a bit much. I don't think I need to discard their hand. I mean, that seems like a ridiculous effect. for just because your opponent targeted one of your cards. But okay. Protector of the Nature. Continuous spell card. This is always treated as a Blumia card. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon one Blumia monster from your hand. Your opponent cannot negate that effects of Blumia monsters that are in the graveyard. Whenever a Blumia monster gets tributed, draw one card. I feel like you should only be able to special summon a monster once per turn with this effect, but that's fine. Cards otherwise. Okay. Blumia's Shield of Nature, continuous trap card. If your opponent activates a card effect that would target a plant monster you control, tribute one plant monster you control. If you do, negate the activation of that card. If you tribute a Blumia monster by this effect, you can activate one of the following effects. Draw one card. Special summon a Blumia monster from your deck, or your opponent must tribute a monster they control. You can activate the effects of Blumia's Shield of Nature once per turn. So, this archetype seems interesting. It definitely follows kind of the plant themes of gaining life points, fusion summoning, tributing monsters from both fields. All that seems perfectly fine. I get Naturia vibes from this. I get Aroma vibes from this. I get Rika vibes from this. It's all understandable. And it also doesn't just let you get away with summoning a bunch of plant monsters. A lot of these cards require specifically Blumia cards, which is good insight on your part. I feel like some of these cards are too powerful, and I feel like they are a lot too powerful because you have cards like Draco Papilio that allow you to just summon a fusion monster from your extra deck without actually fusion summoning it. I feel like this deck is too forgiving of mistakes. And what I mean by that is you hanker down on this insistence that you always have with all your decks, where you want to punish your opponent for trying to play the game. Banishing their entire hand, like sending their hand to the graveyard, or banishing all cards they control because one of your monsters got removed from the field, it's not needed. Like, you should expect some of your cards to be interacted with. You aren't just going to have a perfect game every single game. So, it's a bit over the top. But, it's not far off. I feel like the power level of this deck needs to be dropped down from its current 10 to a 7, and then it would be fine. You're just, like, a little bit over. Okay. Where's the, Amphorion, okay. Alright, Amphorion Blasphemer Anaxa. This was submitted by Chronojet. Level 7 Wind Spellcaster. If this card battles an opponent's monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 in attack and defense. You can only use each effect once per turn. If you control a plant or Amphorion monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal special summon, you can pay 800 life points, target an Amphorion monster in your graveyard or banishment. Special summon it, but it negates its effects on the field until the end phase. Then if you special summon a level 10 or lower Amphorion monster with this effect, you can apply the following effect, change the level of the monster to 7. Okay. This doesn't seem like much of an Xyz deck. I'm not sure why you want to change it to level 7, but alright. Amphorion Memo Sprite Mem. Level 3 Water Fairy Tuner Monster. If you control a level or rank 7 or higher Amphorion monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. If summoned this way from the graveyard, banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is no more special summon, you can pay 800 life points or remove 3 remembrance counters from your field. Add 1 Amphorion spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters that train activate these effects except Amphorion monsters. Okay, so you got a lock. You can only summon it once per turn. Seems fine. This looks like Sylveon, by the way. Amphorion Permanence Terravox. Okay. This is a level 7 Earth Wyrm monster. Cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use one of the following effects per turn. And only once that turn, also you cannot special summon for the extra deck except Amphorion monsters to train you activate either effect. You can pay 800 life points, then send 1 Amphorion monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Terravox if you do special summon this card from your hand. If you control an Amphorion monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, you can shuffle 2 Amphorion cards from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck. Special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay. So this card comes down for free and then can special summon itself for free. Alright. Amphorion Remembrance Trailblazer. Level 7 Water Spellcaster monster. You can special summon this card from your hand by sending one card from your hand or field to the graveyard. You can only summon it once per turn this way. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate these effects except Amphorion monsters. If this card is normal or special summon, pay 800 life points to remove 3 Remembrance cards from your field. Add 1 Amphorion monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You pay 800 life points to special summon 1 Amphorion Memorite Mem from your graveyard or banishment. Okay. So we have spellcasters, fairies, and wyrms so far. They're all different attributes, which means that you can't just play Dominus Impulse or Dominus Purge in this deck, which is nice. Amphorion Ruler My Day. Level 7 Light Warrior monster. If you control no monsters, or an Amphorion Fusion Synchro Exceeds or Link monster, you can special summon this card for your hand or graveyard. If summoned this way from your graveyard, banish it when it leaves the field. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Amphorions. As a quick effect, you can tribute this card and pay 800 life points. Target one card on the field and return it to the hand. That's fine. Fine effect. Amphorion Silencer Hysilens. Level 7 Water Psychic monster. You can pay 800 life points to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Amphorion monster from your hand, or if you control no other monsters when you activate this effect, special summon 1 Amphorion monster from your deck instead. If you do send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, you can only use each effect once per turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Amphorion monsters, I guess, the turn you activate either of its effects. That's important. You don't want to make generic psychic cards that can summon themselves, especially not by paying life points. But, because you would just use this card as synchro material. But, if paying 800 life points to special summon this card from your hand does lock you into only Amphorions for the rest of the turn, that's fine. Amphorion Ode to Genesis. This is a continuous spell card. Each time an Amphorion Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, or Link monster special summon from your extra deck, place 1 Remembrance counter on this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field, target 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy it. You can remove 6 Remembrance counters from your field, target 1 Amphorion Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, or Link monster you control. This turn, that monster gains 2,500 attack and defense. Also, if it attacks an opponent's defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Oh, sure, that's fine. I like counter gaining. Amphorion Moonbloom. Add 1 Amphorion card from your deck to your hand except Amphorion Moonbloom. Also, you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate these effects except Amphorion monsters. You can banish this card and 1 Amphorion card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Amphorion monster from your graveyard or banishment, but negate its effects on the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay. So you draw, and then you summon a monster from your graveyard. This is going to let you flood pretty well. Amphorion Skyrush. Activate one of these effects. Fusion summon 1 Amphorion monster from your extra deck using monster from your hand or field. If there are 2 or more Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, or Link monsters on the field... Sorry, Fusion, Synchro, or Exceeds monsters on the field when you activate this effect, you can also send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. Special summon to 2 non-Link Amphorion monsters with different names from your graveyard. Immediately aspect resolves. Synchro summon 1 Amphorion Synchro monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as material. You can only use activate 1 Skyrush per turn. Alright, sure. So you either fuse or synchro, and it's not a quick effect. That seems fine. Amphorius. Field spell. This is always treated as Amphorion. When this card is activated, you can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Set 1 Amphorion spell from their deck except Amphorius. Each time you activate Amphorion monster's effect, place a Remembrance counter on this card after it resolves, max 20. Monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each Remembrance counter on the field, so up to 2,000. You can only activate 1 Amphorius per turn. That's cool. I like that effect. Amphorion Dawnbreaker. When your opponent activates a spell or trap effect while you control an Amphorion Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, or Link monster, pay 800 life points, tribute 1 monster from your hand or field, negate the activation. If you do, shuffle it into the deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Amphorion spell in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. Okay. Sure, I mean, a counter trap that requires you tribute a monster is fine. May Rainbows Remain in the Sky. This card is always treated as an Amphorion card. Send 1 Amphorion card from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target up to 2 non-link Amphoreon monsters with different names from your graveyard and or banishment. Special summon them. If you do, their levels become 7. Immediately, that effect resolves. Exceed summon one Amphoreon Exceeds monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as material. You can only use one May Rainbows Remain in the Sky effect per turn, and only once that turn. Sure, drawing 2 cards seems like a perfectly reasonable effect. Let's see the extra deck. Let's start with the Link monsters, because the Link monsters are always the most broken ones. Amphoreon Reminisce Evernights. 2 or more Amphoreon monsters, including a Fusion Synchro Exceeds or Link monster. As a quick effect, you can pay 800 life points or remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field. Target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. Then if you destroyed a monster with this effect, gain life points equal to the destroyed monster's attack and defense, whichever is higher. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, for the special summon of an Amphoreon monster from the extra deck, you can remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay. If this card is sent to the graveyard for the special summon of an Amphoreon monster from the extra deck, I guess. Amphoreon True Remembrance Cyrene. This is a Link 5 that requires 3 or more Amphoreon Fusion Synchro Exceeds and or Link monsters cannot be destroyed or banished by card effects. You can remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field, such summon 1 Amphoreon Fusion Synchro Exceeds or Link monster from your graveyard or banishment. You can use this effect up to once per turn, up to twice per turn as a quick effect. Shuffle 1 from your graveyard, remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field, target 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy it. So it's a Link 5 that gets back one of its materials, and then can pop twice. That seems fine. Amphoreon Imperator Keridra. 2 or more Amphoreon monsters, including a Fusion Synchro Exceeds or Link monster. You can pay 800 life points, send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target 1 Amphoreon monster in your graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon it, but negate its effects until the end phase. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field or in their hand, you can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, or remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field, negate the activation. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay. So it's a Link 4, but it does require like Fusion, Synchro, or Exceeds monsters, which is more materials. So you could consider this to be like a Link 6, basically, with the amount of materials you have to use to actually make it. Discarding a card is not like good enough for an Omni Negate. Like that's not. But it is a powerful. Like this is a lot of materials to summon. So I think this is probably fine. It's a hard once per turn effect. The main issue is that you're going to make this. You're going to use this card to go into Cyrene, and then you're just going to revive it. But I think that's probably fine. Amphoreon Phantasma Castoris. 2 level 7 Amphoreon monsters as a quick effect. You can attach 1 material from this card, or if this card has no materials attached, remove 3 Remembrance counters from your field instead. Target 1 monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. Attach 1 card from your field or graveyard to it as material, but banish it when it leaves the field. That seems fine. Amphoreon Healer Hyacine. 2 level 7 Amphoreon monsters as a quick effect. You can attach 1 material from this card. If this card had no materials attached, remove 3 Remembrance counters instead. Target 1 monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and you can apply 1 of these effects. Gain life points equal to the attack of the monster. This card gains 1,000 attack and defense. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can pay 800 life points. Special on this card and attach 1 card from your field or graveyard to it as material, but banish it when it leaves the field. Alright. Amphoreon Tricker Cypher. Level 10 Dark Beast Warrior monster. Requires 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. This Synchro Summon card cannot be targeted by card effects. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can pay 800 life points. Fusion summon an Amphoreon Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing materials from your field or graveyard. If this card is used as material for the special summon of an Amphoreon monster from the extra deck, you can special summon this card, and if you do, gain life points equal to this card's attack points, reduce this card's level by 3, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this card is basically supposed to be used as link material, and then exceeds off, which is ridiculous. Amphoreon Deliverer Phanon. This is a level 10 Light Warrior Synchro monster. Requires an Amphoreon tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. This card gains, if this card battles, this card gains 500 attack and defense until the end phase. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can pay 800 life points, set 1 Amphoreon Spell Trap directly from your deck. During your opponent's turn, you can, as a quick effect, you can shuffle 2 Amphoreon cards from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck, target 1 card on the field, and banish it. Amphoreon Weaver Aglaya, 2 Amphoreon monsters. If this card were an Amphoreon Weaver token, you control battles. It gains 800 attack and defense until the end of the damage step. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 Amphoreon monster from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. As a quick effect, you can pay 800 life points or remove 3 remembrance counters from your field instead. Special summon an Amphoreon Weaver token, then you can apply the following effect. Immediately this effect resolves, fusion summon 1 Amphoreon fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. And then the last monster is Amphoreon Linker Tribble, which is a fusion of 2 Amphoreon monsters. If this card is fusion summon, you can pay 800 life points. Special summon an Amphoreon monster from your hand or graveyard, but negate its effects. During the main phase, you can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and then reveal 1 Amphoreon Synchro monster from your extra deck. Immediate aspect resolves. Synchro summon the revealed monster by shuffling its materials from your field and or graveyard into the deck. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner, whose level is equal to the level of the revealed monster. You can only use each effect once per turn. Alright, so, what do I think about this deck? This deck is an attempt to make a small archetype that is able to chain summon enough so that it could actually have like a lock and still possess enough monsters that have quick effects that are good enough to actually stop your opponent and survive the turn and potentially win the game. It's impressive. It's an impressive idea. And there are a lot of cards in this deck that would allow you to summon multiple monsters. You would go very wide. I'm trying to think of like a comparison, like a modern deck that has a lock that actually sees play. And I can't really think of one. The last modern deck we got that had a lock in it that's actually good is... let's see. It's not Dark Lords. It's not Lunalights. Exosisters? Okay. So Exosisters were tier 3 for a while. Exosisters had basically an Omni-Negate with Carmail. They have a quick effect Banish with Michaelis. You also had some like spell cards that would allow you to force your opponent to return a card from their graveyard to their hand, which then allowed you to Exceed summon a bunch of Floodgates. So if I compare this deck to Exosisters, this deck is better than Exosisters, but not by that much. I think this is a reasonable like starting point for trying to make a deck that would actually be able to kind of go into like a couple of Link monsters, an Exceed monster, and then a counter trap, which would all allow you to kind of quick effect banish and bounce your opponent's cards. And I think that you did a good job with the locks and with the management of resources. I can see the lines that you're thinking of with these cards and how they chain into each other, which is interesting. And I like the remembrance counters. Overall, I think this is a strong submission. Okay. Akashu's second archetype is Ice Jade support. Okay, Ice Jade Emera. Can't join this because I don't have Discord, but I have made the custom cards and I posted on Facebook a while ago. I'm so sorry, guys. Hey, no worries. See you later, Arslan YGO. Let's see. If you control an Ice Jade card or a card that mentions Ice Jade in its text, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can special summon Ice Jade Emera once per turn this way. If this card was normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Ice Jade monster from your hand or deck by sending 1 to the graveyard. 1 level 4 Ice Jade monster. This card cannot be used for extra deck summons except for Ice Jade extra deck monsters. I feel like this should be a tuner. But, sure. It seems fine. You can special summon this card. Special summon an Ice Jade monster from your hand or deck by sending to the graveyard 1 level 4 Ice Jade monster from where? You see, this is the problem. Like, you have to specify, if you're expending a cost, you have to specify where you're expending that cost from. Ice Jade Glacia. If this card is normal summon and you have 3 Ice Shade cards in your graveyard, add 1 water monster from your deck to your hand. That seems fine. Once per turn, discard 1 card, add 1 Ice Shade spell or trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If this card is sent in your graveyard and you have an Ice Shade monster sent to the graveyard, as a quick effect, you can banish this card, special summon 1 Ice Shade monster or water monster for its level 4 or lower from your graveyard. Yeah, that's fine. There's other Ice Shade cards that do that. So that's like a common effect for Ice Shade, is to banish a card from the graveyard to revive another water monster. This fits. Ice Jade Jedi. This is a level 5 water aqua. You can special summon this card from your hand if you control Ice Jade Cenote Neon Cradle or an Ice Jade Trap card. You can special summon Ice Jade Jedi once per turn this way. While you control this card, your opponent cannot banish Ice Jade cards you control. You can tribute this card from your field, special summon 1 Ice Jade Cosmoclore from your hand, deck, or graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard and an Ice Jade monster you control is sent to the graveyard or banished, banish this card, special summon an Ice Jade monster from your graveyard or that is banished. Cool, I like that. SMG95 Gamer, hey, I made a card for you, it's really powerful. Well, I am almost done with this week's submissions, so you'll have to join the Discord and post it in submissions, and I'll get it next week. Ice Jade Ram Tremora, this is a level 7 water aqua monster. You can discard this card, special summon 1 Ice Jade monster from your hand and one Ice Jade monster from your graveyard. If this card was sent to the graveyard by its own effect, add 1 spell or trap that mentions an Ice Jade monster in its text from somewhere. Special summon, if this card is in your graveyard and you control an Ice Jade Synchro monster, special summon this card in defense position. If you special summon this card this way while you control this card, level 3 monsters you control can be treated as tuner monsters. Banish this card when it leaves the field. Cool. I mean, there do need to be more ways for Ice Jades to be able to Synchro summon, so I think this is fine. Ice Jade Scotty Tremocler. A fusion summon, okay. You can either... is this level 10? 3, 6, 10. Okay. So you could... Oh my god. You can either fusion summon or special summon this card from your X deck by attributing 2 Ice Jade monsters you control whose defense are 2500 or lower. While you control this card, Ice Jade monsters you control can attack in defense position, and if you do, apply their defense for damage calculation. Your opponent cannot target Ice Jade monsters you control with attacks, except Ice Jade Scotty Tremocler. Once per turn, if an Ice Jade monster leaves the field by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon one water monster from your deck or graveyard. You can tribute this card to activate 1 Ice Jade spell or trap from your hand or deck. Okay. So, this is a level 10 water aqua monster with 0 attack points. That means this card can be tributed for Egyptian God Slime and then tributed for the Winged Dragon of Ra. Let's not do that. Let's not make more targets for Egyptian God Slime. We just got Ra support. We don't need more cards. We don't need to encourage people to dip into your archetype and your support just to play the Winged Dragon of Ra. We're trying to make Ice Jades good here. Ice Jade Aquifer Neon Crucible. This card's name becomes Ice Jade Cenote Neon Cradle while it is on the field. When this card is activated, target 2 Ice Jade cards from your graveyard or that are banished and add them to your hand. During either player's turn, if a monster is summoned, target 1 water monster you control. All monsters your opponent controls lose attack equal to the defense of that monster. If you control 2 Ice Jade monsters, your opponent can target water synchro monsters you control with something. If an Ice Jade monster is banished from your graveyard, target 1 Ice Jade monster that is banished. Shuffle that monster into your deck, and if you do, draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn. And Ice Jade Synode Conclave. If you control 2 or more Ice Jade monsters, your opponent activates the card effect. You contribute 1 Ice Jade monster you control, or banish 1 Ice Jade monster from your graveyard. Negate the activation of that card or effect, and if you do, banish it. You can use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, shuffle 1 Ice Jade card from your graveyard that is banished into your deck. Draw 1 card. Level 10 Ice Jade monsters you control are unaffected by card effects, except their own. Every week, I have to explain this. If you are going to give a card the ability to be unaffected, you have to specify that it is still affected by its own card effects. Now, I am going to spend as much time on this as you did. I think, on 4 of these cards that you submitted out of 6, or 7, you did not finish a sentence. So, Akashu, you have to read your cards out loud when you submit them. I do not know how good a card is when you say you can special summon an Ice Jade monster from your hand or deck by sending to the graveyard 1 level 4 Ice Jade monster. I need to know where a card is going, where it is coming from, how it is being used. So you need to express yourself in complete ideas. If you do not finish your sentence and you leave off important text, then I don't know how the card functions. So read your cards out loud before you hit the send button and just ask yourself, does this make sense as written? Because if it doesn't, then you need to clarify. Okay. And then Lalafell submitted another verse Morgana. This is level 4 Dark Spellcaster. This card is always treated as a Morganite card. If this card is normal special summon, you can add one another verse card from your deck to your hand. You can tribute this card, add one Morganite card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and you can only use each effect once per turn. That's a level 4 monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense. Why are we printing Vsauce support here? We don't need Vsauce support. Why is this card... This card can be used to make Astrolaud, can't it? Vicious Astrolaud. Visa Star Plus plus one monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense. Yeah, what the... Why are we... Okay, does the other Morganite card have those stats? She does. Okay, fine. Since Morgana, the Witch of Eyes, is also, for some reason, a Vsauce Star Force support card, I can forgive this. Okay. Another verse. Level 8, normal monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. When a monster you control will be destroyed by battle, you can pay 1,000 life points. That monster is not destroyed. When you summon in another verse monster, gain 1,000 life points. When you fusion summon in another verse monster, you can also banish its fusion material from your deck. Okay, let's see what the Anotherverse stuff is. Morgana, the Witch of Anotherverse. 2 Anotherverse and or Morganite monsters. This card is always treated as a Morganite card. You can also special summon this card from your extra deck by discarding 2 cards from your hand, including at least one Anotherverse monster. While you control no monsters, this is treated as a fusion summon. If this card is special summon, you can add one Morganite card from your deck to your hand. When your Anotherverse card will be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect once per turn. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a normal monster. Anotherverse Angel. Fusion of 2 Anotherverse monsters must be fusion summoned. When this card is special summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated. During your main phase, you can discard 1 Anotherverse monster, send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number of Anotherverse normal monsters you control. You can only use each effect of Anotherverse Angel once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by battle while you control Anotherverse. Okay, I mean, that seems fine. And then lastly, Anotherverse Deity, level 12. Fusion of 3 Anotherverse monsters with 5,000 attack and defense. Must be fusion summoned. When this card is special summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated. Once per turn, you can add one Anotherverse card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, you can send cards on the field to the graveyard up to the number of Anotherverse cards you control. When your opponent activates a card effect as a quick effect, you can discard the same type of card, negate that card or effect, and if you do, banish it face down. You can only use this effect a number of times per turn up to the number of fusion materials used in this card's fusion summon, -2. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay. So this is... This is a quick effect send to graveyard that also allows you to do like a invoke Makaba effect a number of times per turn equal to the number of monsters you use to material for it. That seems pretty interesting. There are plenty of cards that have that effect, but most of them have pretty bad stats. Like Dark Paladin doesn't have really high stats. So the fact that this card can't be destroyed in battle and basically just negates any card that like fights that it would be used against it is a bit of a problem. But it's not like Anotherverse is a really powerful archetype already. I would be hesitant about this because I feel like Konami's not done with Anotherverse yet. So I think that probably they're going to get some support, which would make this a bit of an issue. But as long as we just see a bunch of normal monsters for this deck, it probably would be okay. Keep that in mind. Alright, whatever. I'll look at SMG's card real quick. SMG 95 Titan form. This is a level 12 Divine Beast. It destroys any monsters the owner chooses. After that, the owner is allowed to draw 2 cards. It's a quick effect. It gains 10,000 attack and defense. Sure, bro. Alright. Yeah, so this is not how a card is written. No Divine Beasts exist other than the Egyptian gods. Divine Beasts are all level 10, and this card does not have any attack or defense points. So, this is a poorly designed card, but I can see where you're coming from. Thoughts on the overframe so far? It took me a while to get the right consistency for an overframe card. The first version was for Unicorn, was made by Lalafell before I made mine, which were updates. The these are beautiful cards. I like the artwork. It looks nice. Okay, alright, that's it for the review. Thank you very much for coming out. If you want to get your cards reviewed, then just join the Discord. Link is in the description. I make a video every Sunday. My name is Seraphi, and I was thrilled to have you all